In this lesson, we're going to continue to discuss paragraph formatting. If you'd like to follow along, go under the File menu to Open, and in the Sample Files folder, scroll down to 0701-0702 Paragraph Panel, and just click Open. Before we begin discussing indents and paragraph spacing, space before and space after, why don't we zoom in a little bit on a couple of paragraphs. I'm going to go to my zoom tool and just click and drag to the width of this particular paragraph. And now I'm going to go to my type tool and I'm just going to click in that paragraph that's right underneath the subhead that says, "Here's looking at you." To make it easier to see what's going on with indents, I'm going to first apply Justify with last line or line left. The first kind of an indent is a left indent. You can see the icon, it shows the text being pushed away from the left side. Why don't we click the up arrow next to the field to see what happens? And you can see it's moving the text in from the left side of the frame or column. The next field to the right is a right indent. And watch what happens if I start clicking the up arrow next to that field. It's pushing the text in from the right side of the column or frame. What is this? That's a first line indent. Why don't we play with that for just a second? You can see in the icon it's pushing just the first line in from the left indent. Let me click my up arrow next to that, and you can see this is a traditional first line indent that you would find in books or lots of other publications that are more traditionally formatted. It's your paragraph indent to let you know this is the beginning of a paragraph. I wonder, is it possible to do a negative first line indent? Let me click my down arrow, and I'm just going to keep going until it's to 0, and you can see now the first line is aligned to the rest of the indent from the left side. Let me continue clicking my down arrow, and you can see now that first line is sticking out to the left of the indent. I'm going to keep doing this until I finally get an error message. It's never going to let me do a negative first line indent that pushes the text outside of the frame. Let me just click OK. And that's as far as it can go. I wonder what I would ever use this for. Well, it's kind of the traditional way to do bullet formatting. Let me show you what I'm talking about. I'm going to get an insert point before the word align in that paragraph, in the first line. And I'm going to go under my type menu to insert special character, symbols, bullet character. To see better what's going on with my formatting, I'm going to go under the type menu to show hidden characters. And then I'm just going to hit my tab key once. And you can see when I add a tab between the bullet and the rest of the indented copy, it pushes that first line to align with that left indent. So if I was creating a bullet style, this is how I would format the copy. There is a better way to format bullets and numbering, and we're going to talk about that in an upcoming lesson. But let's see if I can adjust the bullet so it is closer to my indented text. The way you would do that is make that negative first line indent less, so it's less of a negative number. I'm going to click my up arrow, and you can see it moved the bullet in. This is the way that you would format a bullet style where the bullets are slightly indented from the rest of the text. But what if I wanted this bullet to be closer to the indent, but all the way back flush to the left so it lines up with the rest of the text? Let me decrease the indent by clicking the down arrow, and you can see now the bullet is coming all the way back out to the left side of the column or frame. If you want to create a bullet style that is like this, you'll notice that your left indent and your first line indent are exactly the same number, except there's a minus sign before the first line left indent. Why don't we talk about another way to format bullets that is absolutely positively the fastest way to create a single bullet. I'm going to go into the next paragraph, and at the beginning of the first line, I'm just going to click to get an insert point with my type tool. And then I'm going to go back under the type menu to insert special character, symbols, bullet character. So I have my bullet, and now I'm just going to type a couple of spaces. I'm going to go under the type menu to insert special character other and choose something called indent to here. And you can see the invisible is a dagger character. And what it's doing is it's indenting the rest of the paragraph to that indent to here. Well, very fast way to make a single bullet, but it's actually the most inefficient way to create bullet formatting, because an indent to here cannot be saved as part of a style. So if you have to create more than one bullet, which you always have to create more than one bullet, this is a very inefficient way to work. And as I mentioned, we will be talking about the most efficient way to create bullets and numbering formatting in an upcoming lesson. Let me scroll up a little bit, and I'm going to talk about space before and space after. Most of the time, you're going to use either space after a paragraph or space before a paragraph. And you can see the icon is actually with space before pointing at gray space above a paragraph. Space after is pointing at gray space after a paragraph. So it's adding space before or after a paragraph. Let me click in this paragraph above, and you can see that there's 0.125 inches of space under that paragraph. So it's inserting space between this paragraph and the subhead. Is there ever a time that I would use both space after and space before? I'm going to click on the subhead. A subhead is a good example of when you may want to have space after, but also space before as part of the same paragraph formatting. Right now, the subhead that says "Here's looking at you" appears to be about the same distance from the copy under that subhead and the copy that's above it. Well, if the subhead is introducing the text under it, shouldn't it be closer to that text? Well, what I'm going to do is add space above. And now it is definitely closer to the text that it's introducing. We're going to continue to discuss paragraph formatting in the next lesson.